I mean, who knows if that's going to come to fruition? I mean, it would be a great thing if it could happen, but it needs to be the right vehicle because
Right.
there's only one chance with the air supply music. You know, you can't have two or three running or say, oh no, that one was no good. Now we're going to do this one. It needs to be the right one, and
Right.
so we're okay to wait for that right book, which we haven't read yet.
Okay.
Yeah, we do. I mean, usually these guys stay around for quite some years.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, our bass player, Johnny Lightfoot, was with us for 16 years.
Yes. Yeah.
And unfortunately, he developed diabetes and he couldn't fly anymore. So,
Oh, I see. Yeah.
and it was quite serious, so he had to resign. Since then, but now we have another bass player to take his place. His name is Doug Gill, and he's a younger guy, but you know, usually, in fact, almost always, the guys stay for a long time until something comes up for them. And I think the reason for that is, you know, we work all the time, and most groups, most artists don't. They
Right.
work for a couple of months or 3 months a year, and then they take the rest of the time off, or they do spotty dates. But we're one of those few bands that work all the time, and I think it's kind of a prized position if you can get it, you know, because we work constantly and we travel so much.
Right.
I think a lot of people like that concept. However, some people don't. Some people don't want to be away from their families, and they say, "Oh no, it's too much work, too much traveling." And in which case, we look for someone else that's more suited to being away a lot. And you know, it's a different kind of animal. You know, we call them road warriors.
Right.
And you're either a road warrior or you're not, you know.
Yeah.
But we're not the weekend kind of band. We work so much. For the most part, for the moment, certainly, you know. I mean, next year will be our 43 years.
Wow.
I mean, we never know what's going to happen. I mean, life is so unpredictable. I mean, anybody could become sick like tomorrow or next week. But, you know, we've been very lucky during our career. We've never had major illnesses. I think I've missed one show in the entire 43 years.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it's quite amazing when you think about it. With all the traveling we do, and you know, you could get the flu on a plane, which is probably the most likely place. But we've been very lucky. However, you know, who knows what's going to happen? But we would like to continue in the foreseeable future. Yeah, it would be nice to get to 50 years. I think that would be a great milestone for any band. You know, I mean, the Stones have done it, but there's very few that have done it, and we'd like to be one of those. But of course, we want to keep the quality of what we're doing at that high level for that long as well, and not just do it for the sake of it.
Right.
To say, oh, we've been together for 50 years. We want to have that high level of touring that we enjoy now, and you know, selling out every show we do is a nice feeling. So hopefully we can do that. But at the moment, we don't see any obstacles. You know, like for instance, we're booked into 2019. We have some shows, so everything is kind of moving along nicely for us. We call it the machine. You know, the air supply machine that just keeps moving and it keeps going forward. And you know, sometimes, as you said, band members leave, but someone replaces them, and the machine keeps going because it needs to right now. You know, that's what we love. We love to perform live. Well, I'm always the one to try and change things. You know, Russell would prefer to, when something really works or a new song comes in and it's really getting great reception, he's the one to say, oh, then let's leave that in for a while. But I'm on the other end of the scale. I'm always the one to say, well, I know that's working great, but I want to bring something else in too.
Right.
And I want to keep pushing the envelope, you know, and that's what keeps it fresh for me. But, you I mean, his responsibility is to get on stage every night and look great and sound great and be able to keep doing that, and which he does. And that's a great responsibility, but mine's different. Mine is the show, bringing new songs and when to pull songs out and to create the show that people love, and so I'm always looking to change things and different arrangements, and that's really my job. But it's always fresh for us because the audience is always different,
Right.
different venue, different city usually. Like in a few days we're going to be going to China, so that'll be a totally different animal too. So we'll adjust everything. So the surroundings change for us, but the show doesn't change that much, and yet it feels like it is changed because of the surroundings. Next week we'll be in Shanghai, and it'll be totally different. So that will impact the show, the way we feel about it. I really would like to go back, and I know there's some political strife going on now, whether people can go there or not. I believe that we're not allowed to go there now, but I would love to go back because I think it was like 10 or 12 years ago we were there. It was such a great place because not a lot of people have gone there, and that's why we really wanted to play there. But I'd like to go back to see what it's like, and I hope we can before we don't play anymore, because it was a beautiful place and the crowd was just so beautiful, so receptive. Right. Well, I have a new book coming out, which is my third.
Oh, okay.
And the thing is with poems, I just love sitting down to write them, and I have the opportunity to do that so much because traveling, and I don't like to waste my time traveling. I'm either writing lyrics or I'm thinking about songs. I'm listening to new roughs of songs, or I'll sit down and write 2 or 3 poems. But what I do, I post a new poem every Sunday on Facebook, and I've done that for almost 3 years. And I find it's a really nice escape for me because I know I'm committed to doing it, and there are a lot of people that wait for it. And so I like the responsibility of doing that. Plus, it makes me sit down and write them. And once I do, I say to myself, oh God, I've got to do this much more often. And so I do, and I like to deliver it. I usually deliver it on Friday. It almost sounds like a dry cleaning or a carton of milk or something. But I like to do it, and I know that people enjoy it, and I never know what the poem's going to be about until I sit down and I just look around and I see what stands out to me, and I keep them short. Certainly in the new book, I keep them short because I'm very aware of people's attention span with anything in this modern day. But my new book is going to be 120 of the Sunday poems all together. Yeah, and it's going to be called "Turn Left at Greenland."
Very nice. Very cool.
Yeah. The first one was called "Across the Concrete Sky," and the second one was called "Dearly Beloved." And they both sold out, and they each had like three editions. So it's kind of a nice thing, and it's not anything where, it's designed to make money, because I'm not interested in that.
Yeah.
I like to see people's reaction, especially when I recite on the show, and afterwards people say, oh God, it meant so much to me. And if 2 or 3 people say that, then I've achieved my goal, and it's kind of a brave thing during a rock and roll show to suddenly recite a poem. And at first I thought, God, I'm going to get murdered. People are going to start wolf whistling. But it's completely the opposite. As soon as I say I'm going to recite something, you can hear a pin drop, and people love it. So for me, it's another expression. It's another pathway of expression. And I keep them short, but they're usually pretty deep, and there's always a hidden meaning in the words. There's always a double meaning. It's not just about whatever topic it's about. There's something else hidden in them. And when I look at the comments on Facebook the next day, most everyone said, "Yeah, I got it. I got the hidden meaning." So it's kind of a nice thing that I really enjoy. Plus, it fuels that passion I have for the English language and English literature and poetry. I just love it so much. So it allows me for a couple of minutes during the show to exercise that love that I have for words. They come to us, yeah, because they have to get a license.
Right.
And it's usually Barry Siegel, our manager, who'll come to me and he'll say, "I've got a request for this song and that song." And I never say no, because I think even if the mood is a bit strange, I think having a song in there is a good thing. Yeah. Because I know the songs are really good because they've proven themselves. So I think, it's a positive thing. And it surprises me that after all this time, specifically All Out of Love, it's been in so many movies, and we still get requests for it, like now, in this modern age. And the song was first released in 1978, so it's almost 40 years old. And I think to myself, well, that's really cool. That song is really earning its way in the world. And it's a great pride I have when one of those songs gets in a movie. And often I don't know about it, So often Barry sometimes he comes to me and say, "Oh, they want this song in a movie," and he knows I'm going to say yes. So sometimes he gives them a license, and then I'll see it in the movie. I go, "Oh wow, that's great." It happens a lot, but at this point in our career, that's quite an achievement. I think almost 40 years. Usually you only see that with Beatles songs and sometimes Rolling Stones songs. But I think it's a testament to the longevity of the song and the simplicity and the fact that people want to hear those songs, because they certainly do market research before they put any song in a movie. And they would put it out, do research, and it must come back positive. And that's why they keep doing it, which is great. I love it.
I mean, I could go on and ask you a million questions, but I don't want to take up your probably a rare day off, if it is even a day off for you today. But I just want to.
You're very welcome, and I have plenty of time. I mean, it is a day off. We got in last night, and we leave tomorrow. But it's nice to be home in the quiet and where everything's kind of mellow. Because I live in the mountains, and I've been living here for almost 30 years, and when I first moved here, people thought I was crazy. I mean, they really did. Because I live in Utah, and they say, "Utah? What are you going to Utah for?" And but now everybody's going, "Oh my God, I wish I'd done what you did 30 years ago," because I have a lovely piece of ground, and it's very peaceful, and I have the views from hell. I mean, from everywhere, and it's just a beautiful place to come back to. And it's my own sanctuary.
It's so amazing. I drove across the country with my daughter last year, and I went through Utah for the first time. And apparently there's a sign that if you miss it, you can drive for over 100 miles without seeing a gas station. I was getting pretty nervous. And then I found out, I'm like, did I just miss it? Like, what happened? Where am I?
Yeah. Oh, they're beautiful drives all over Utah, in any direction.
Gorgeous.
But you're right. Sometimes you got to look at your gas and go, "Well, okay," because some of the roads, especially if you go from north to south towards Vegas, the roads are dead straight, and it's through the desert, and you don't see anything. And you can see 20 miles in front of you, and there's nothing there.
Yeah.
So you've got to plan it out. You got to take a flask of tea and some sandwiches just in case you have a flat tire or something.
Yeah, I'll definitely be more aware next time. It had beautiful scenery, though. It was gorgeous.
Oh, it's amazing. The first time I saw it, we were playing at the MGM in Vegas in 1990. We were doing 2 weekends, and normally we would go home. But my wife and I decided to drive more because we rented a car. Mm-hmm. We had no, where we would go. And said, let's just drive. And came into Utah, and it opened up. And oh my, I've never seen anything like this before. And we just fell in love with it at that time, and that was a long time ago.
That's awesome. Do you
but
ever?
It's not for everyone. I mean, Russell would go crazy here. And he's been up 2 or 3 times, and he gets a little agitated because there's nothing around me. And Russell is a city person. He likes all the comforts of modern day city living.
Gotcha.
Takeaways and deliveries, and of course there's none of that here. And you're kind of on your own. You chop your wood, you build a fire, but it's not Russell's cup of tea. And the times he has been up here, it's been quite funny because I catch him and he'll say to me, okay, what are we doing now? And I say, we're just going to chill out and go for a walk, go for a hike. And of course, that's not his cup of tea. But I think that's what makes us both get on so well. We're different ends of the spectrum.
That sounds like fun. I'd like that. Go for a walk and just have nature all around.
Oh, I love it. Yeah. See, I can go for a walk, and I know I'm not going to see anybody. So I can walk for 2 or 3 hours, and I won't see anybody. And I like that feeling. It's like because you become one with nature. I know that's very cliche, but you really do. You commune with it, and you become the sky and the trees and the sagebrush. You just become it, and it becomes you. And you don't need to say anything. It's all internal. But there's a lot of stuff going on inside. It kind of cleans house.
Yeah. Sounds really nice. Well, thank you so much, Graham, for chatting with me today.
Thank you. I'm so glad we got the chance to do it. Oh, did you say you will be at the Atlantic City show?
I will, yes. I'll be there.
Oh, great. Well, make sure you come and say hi, and we can hopefully take a picture.
That would be...
I saw you have a picture with everyone, with Rick and a few other of your interviewees.
Yes. Yeah, I would love to say hello.
Yes, please. Well, thank you very much for the opportunity today. It's been wonderful.
Thank you. You too. Have a good day.
And you too. Bye-bye.
All right, bye.